Drifter stood at the ashen wastes, wind gnawing at their tattered cloak. Hollow eyes burned where light once lived. They should have perished with the dark age, yet here they lingered, a pact unbroken. Unbroken long ago, gnawing at their Dredgen your tattered carved their cloak name into the void, binding them to spy on the light's last embers. But why does the darkness still trust its silent blade? Why let them wander unchained when every breath defies the oath? The drifter's freedom was no choice. It was a wound left open. A question festers: if they were never truly lost, war what keeps them from returning? The drifter's pact was not betrayal, but calculus. A Dredgen bound to shadow not by malice, but by design. The darkness does not consummate infiltrates. Every step the traveler takes toward awakening, the drifter walks ahead, a silent architect of its undoing. The witness in its desperate finality carved a prison without walls, yet the drifter's whispers seep through. What if the final shape is not an end, but a mirror? A reflection of light's blind spot, its own certainty. The traveler's silence is not surrender, it is waiting. For the moment the darkness Spymaster chooses to return. The drifter walked where Dredgen yours shadows still fester. To survive the dark age's furnace was no triumph, it was a transaction. The darkness did not spare him for mercy, it preserved him for purpose. A hollow forged to hold secrets. When the Taken surged in Forsaken's wake, he harvested their rot not to resist, but to refine. Gambit's chaos was never his, it was the darkness blade honed by his hand. What does a Spymaster need to thrive? Not power, not vengeance. A face without origin, a will without name. The drifter's freedom is a mask. The darkness does not enslave those it owns. It lets them wander, lets them dream, while they unknow its bidding. Every step he takes maps the light's blind spots. Every gamble he plays unravels its certainties. The traveler watches, the darkness listens. And the drifter, forever between worlds, carries the only key the light cannot see. The books of sorrow whisper, asterisk deep is older than common terror, asterisk reread it, let the weight settle. The deep is not a place, it is a wound, a principle. The worms kneel to it because it predates their hunger. The darkness does not fear the deep. It obeys. The drifter's ritual sash, bone, the fractured hymns were never about defiance. They were an invocation. A bridge between the paracausal void of darkness and the primordial chaos of the deep. The Dredgen did not bargain for survival. They became a conduit, a witness. The darkness did not claim them. They rent a space in the drifter's soul, a hollow where neither light nor dark could reach. There is no binary here. The light sees only its own reflection. The darkness acts without motive. The deep is patient. The drifter's freedom was a performance. A mask worn for eons to blur the lines between spy and subject. Every shattered city, every hollowed guardiancy were not accidents. They were signals. A language only the worms could decode. What if the drifter's exile was never punishment? What if it was permission, to wander, to listen, to return when the light's heart is most vulnerable? The key the light cannot see is not a weapon, it is a threshold asterisk. The worms do not worship the deep out of fear, they wait for the drifter to kneel. For the old wound to widen, for the moment when terror is no longer common but obvious asterisk. The phrase asterisk given to the deep asterisk is carved into the bones of fallen guardians. A tomb not of flesh but time, Oryx's gift to unmake what was, yet the drifter breathes. His pulse a thorn in the void's throat. How does a Dredgen outlast the hunger that birthed him? The answer festers in the winnower's truth only, that which cannot die is real. The drifter cannot die. Therefore he is real, a wound that refuses to clot. The grimoire's shadows whisper of pacts. Not all who bargain with darkness seek power. Some seek survival. The drifter's pact was silent. A blade turned inward. He became the darkness eye in the light's camp. No crown, no hymns. Just a nameless spy who walks among you, his laughter hollow, his steps echoing the hollow's march. What is freedom for a thing that should not exist? The drifter's lies are not words. They are his breath, his shadow. The light sees him as a wanderer. The darkness sees him as a ledger. Every smile he offers is a tally of your weaknesses. Every pause a pause in your reign, the deep does not forget. It remembers in rot and whispers. When the drifter lanes close, it is not to speak, it is to listen, to collect. The winnower's truth is a chain, the drifter wears it. You think he chose his path? No. He was chosen by the thing that unmade Oryx, by the thing that now wears your faces. The deep is patient, the drifter is its penance, its prophet, its predator. What waits in the winnower's void, but another name for you? When the old wound bleeds again, will you recognize the hand that cuts? The drifter's unasked questions are not silence, they are a scar. A hollow where his name was carved out by the darkness knife. You have seen him trace the iron taste of his own blood, a ritual to remember what he cannot unremember, the pact. Not a bond of flesh, but of absence. The darkness did not grant him freedom. It granted him a mirror. To watch the light burn itself blind, to report every crack in its holy script. His armor is not forged, it is forgotten. Each plate a stolen memory of the Dredgen horde, each rivet a lie about who he was before the pact. He walks the line between two fires, the light calls him predator, the darkness calls him prophet. Both are wrong, he is the wound that asks why it bleeds. When he gazes into the light's heart, he sees a God that cannot forgive its own fragility. When he turns, the darkness offers no answer, the cold logic of erasure. His eyes you have darkness offers notice do not reflect, cold they logic of absorb a thief's trick, a spy's curse. What is a Dredgen who refuses to die, not a martyr, not a monster, question. The darkness made him to test the light's resolve, but the drifter outlived his purpose. Now he wanders, a paradox in motion, seeing both sides as prisons. The light demands faith. The darkness demands surrender, he offers neither. Only the weight of what he has seen, how both paradigms devour their own children. His breath fractures in the cold, you think he shivers. No, he remembers. The day he signed his name in void stuff, the darkness whispered, what are we becoming? Not a threat. A verdict, the drifter carries this question like a stone in his throat. It has no answer. Only the echo of every choice that led him here, every life he took to protect a lie. Every truth he buried to stay alive. The final question is not about light or darkness. It is about the drifter, about you, about what we are becoming. And when the winnower's void opens again, will you recognize the shadow that steps through? The one who knows both sides are already dead. Objectors cite stasis on Europa darkness preserving guardiance's proof, the drifter lacks Spymaster intent. A paradox unless one accepts darkness does not seek conquest but equilibrium. To extinguish the light would collapse the void's necessary opposition. By gifting stasis, darkness ensures its adversary endures, sharpens. The drifter's role becomes clear, not to betray but to sustain. A Dredgen who refused death becomes the fulcrum of a war that cannot end. Every saved guardian is a thread in the tapestry of a conflict, eternally renewed. What if the drifter's silence is not deception, but the most patient form of stewardship? The darkness does not whisper, it waits. And in that wait, the drifter remains both prisoner and architect. 155 words. The drifter's survival of yore is no accident, it is a signature. The darkness does not grant second chances, it engineers them. His Dredgen past was not a mistake, but a stratagem. A sparrow with a spy's eyes, he feigned allegiance to the light while threading its heart with shadows. Every tale of his freedom unravels. He did not break chains, he wore them as a cipher. The witness' final shape is a mirror, a civilization that answered why with a blade. The drifter's presence in that moment was no coincidence. He carried the question itself, a living paradox, light's hope and darkness hunger. His survival of yore proved his worth to both, a pawn, no, a fulcrum. What if his journey was never escape but infiltration? The deep does not conquer, it compels. It plants seeds in frozen soil and waits for ice to crack. The drifter's freedom was a mask metaphysical, not literal. He walked light's halls as a ghost, mapping its fragility. His every step a silent report, the evidence is etched in his silence. Yor fell, the witness rose. And between them the drifter endured, not as a rebel but a steward, a bridge between eras. The darkness patience is a weapon, and the drifter, its sharpest edge, a spy who became the war. A shadow who shaped the dawn, 233 words. The pact was never about freedom. The drifter's hollow eyes held a cipher, a Dredgen bound to the darkness not by chains but by purpose. To watch, to learn, the light's every fracture, the void's every whisper funneled through a weapon that walked upright. This rewrites the Red War. Not a clash of invaders and defenders, but a conflict of wills within the darkness itself. The Drifter's rebellion was a schisma splinter of paracausality, refusing containment. Beyond light's darkness, then, was no mere force, it was a collaborator. A hand guiding the light's own undoing, thread by thread. The final shape was the last gasp of those who feared the Drifter's paradox. A being neither consumed nor conquerable, but evolving. The shape's architects sought to cage what cannot be caged, a shadow with a heartbeat, a spy who outgrew its master. What does this mean for us? The darkness does not corrupt, it asterisk reflects asterisk. Every choice, every war, every spark of defiance ripples in a pond we cannot see, and the drifter. They are the stones still falling. What are we becoming? The question hums now louder, not a warning. A mirror. The drifter walks backward through time's rubble. Their breath smells of iron and ashetcho of the war that never ended. To resurrect is to bargain. What did they trade to the darkness? Not soul, not name. A vow to map the light's fractures. The witness sees all, but the drifter asterisk knows asterisk. A civilization forged by final answers cannot comprehend a wound that never clots. Was their return a betrayal of the dead or a shield against oblivion? The darkness does not grant freedom, it grants purpose, and purpose is a chain forged in shadow. What balance tips when the Spymaster becomes the spied upon? The question hums, not a warning, a dare. The drifter walks backward through time's rubble. Their breath smells of iron and ash, the echo of the war that never ended. To resurrect is to bargain. What did they trade to the darkness? Not soul, not name. A vow to map the light's fractures. The witness sees all, but the drifter asterisk knows asterisk. A civilization forged by final answers cannot comprehend a wound that never clots. Was their return a betrayal of the dead or a shield against oblivion? The darkness does not grant freedom, it grants purpose, and purpose is